Hi all, Alex here of The Mad Cartographer, and welcome to our first What a Mad Month. Going to break down everything we've done this month and do it in a single wrap-up video at the end of the month instead of doing the What a Mad Week videos. We're going to just push out normal, regular text and post updates throughout the month and then just do a single What a Mad Month roundup. So, the Faewilds theme is finished. It went quite well. Some of you may have noticed that all of a sudden the majority of the maps have changed. We got to the end of the theme, looked at all the maps we had and were like, oh, okay. And I didn't like them enough. There wasn't enough weird and wonderful flora on there. Kind of like cool alien plants that I think you would expect from the Faewilds. And so this evening, throughout the day, I made a bunch more plant assets, and then went back over every map and threw some more plants in there, and some giant mushrooms, and some new night variants, and so we've bulked it up a little bit, added a little bit extra in there, and I think it now looks like a prettier map set. So if you go onto my Airbridge, you'll see you'll be able to download the updated versions of the maps. Foundry, the Foundry module. If you update it, all the new maps will be part of that as well. It is a bit of a last-minute thing that we've done right at the end. I don't like making such big changes at the end of the month, and so the my Airbridge access with the password, you will be able to access it for a few days. Even if you're no longer a subscriber, so you'll still be able to get your maps. You'll have to potentially manually update them through Foundry if you want the Foundry versions. But anyway, so I'm going to go through the maps that we've made this month, and starting off with, we just did a little cavern set with some kind of mushrooms in there. I'm going to have another pass over some of these caverns. I want some more plant life in them, but like I said, with the modular tiles, they're going to be something that we regularly try to update anyway. So we did blank version. Little zoom in with the detail here. There was a lava version, water version, and then the actual mushroom Feywild version. We did a little canyon which has this bridge that goes over it in Foundry. This uses the levels module, so you can walk under it. You can change your token height and it will pop you up on top of the bridge, so you can have this verticality in the map, tokens passing underneath it, enemies on top hiding on top of the vines, that kind of thing. This one is just a pretty simple bridge. I kind of really leaned into large vines for this. I think it's not generally terrain that you will see in normal woods and forests. So for me, Faewilds is very much that kind of thing. It's bioluminescent plants and big vines. So that's kind of like where I leaned into things a little bit more. So this is the night variant, just a bridge going over this little valley area, just a little bridge combat, and here is the day version. Still a little bit of tweaks of colour in there, so it still looks a little bit overtaken by nature. And then another vine bridge. Really got into my vine bridge. Big giant leaves, and this is just high up in a canopy somewhere. I think a cool little combat. It's not just a bridge. It's a bridge that if you fall off, then you're gonna be in some troubles. So that's the Foundry version with the blanks. So in Foundry, there's these little canopy bits, so you can kind of walk under the leaves just for that kind of that depth effect. So again, Foundry versions. So there you go. So this is one of the maps that I went back to, and I did a day and night version and turned this forest orb path into a bit of a mushroom version as well. So you've got these bioluminescent ones, and again in Foundry you can see here they are removed. The mushrooms are removed in Foundry because you'll be able to move under them as part of a canopy. So again, I think it was just going back and going, okay, yeah, let's, you know, they just need a little bit extra. But we've still got the old versions. These are what the original versions look like, which I like. I think it was still quite cool. But yeah, I think just adding the mushrooms on there just gave it a little bit something extra. So this was Unicorn Falls. Went back and did a night version of this, and we added in these kind of like alien type palm frond map assets, and we've got the broken statue version with this elven statue. That's really zooming in. There we go. Yeah, with this like elven statue that's just broken for whatever reason. Tweaked the colours on here a little bit to make them a little bit more, a little bit alien, a bit more fey. And again, tree canopies. The majority of the maps that we've done do have a canopy around the edge for Foundry, so you can kind of pass under them. And again, went back over this map, added these new little plants in. Just gives it a little bit of extra colour. And this is a levels map as well. This was a really tricky one. Harrison was cutting his teeth, making his first levels map with this, and it's not easy. The layout isn't particularly easy because there is this area underneath, and then you've got the bridge over the top, and then there's like an extra canopy where you can activate the portal, and so yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one to actually practice on. For this one, yeah, went back over it, added these big fiery fan-like plants, and again, I think it just broke it up. You know, there was already a few little unique looking plants in here, but I think these big ones just I don't know, just gave it a little bit something extra. And again, we've got a day and a night version. Same again here. So this was the original. It was just like a pond, and a few of these were quite thematic. That they kind of like looked similar, so they looked like a similar area in the Faewilds. But again, kind of like at the end and then looking over the set that we'd made. Whilst I liked them and I think they were kind of very good for utility and, you know, really useful and, you know, enough that you could kind of add extra assets to make them a little bit something different. It just wasn't enough, and so again went back, threw in some of these new little mushroom bush things, and then these bigger ones. Got a bit of transparency, so like kind of like giant jellyfish mushrooms. And again, in Foundry, they are canopies, so you can walk underneath them. And did a day and a night version of those. So this is my big map. This is one that I did. It's going to try and zoom in really close, but got some new mushroom things there. We've got these little glowing leaves that appear where these glowing roots are, and the concept behind this is it's like an elven world tree or something like that. And so these roots are kind of stretching out far and wide. Threw in some more of this unique flora. Oh, this is some bioluminescent stuff. And here you go. For some reason I can't get it to. Let me see if I can just get a proper zoom. I don't want it to zoom in quite so far. I think it's just going to keep doing that. Not sure how to do my zoom level. Okay, well, it'll be what it'll be. So yeah, so you've got this big area that you kind of go through, and it goes like an open section, and you can see this canopy area around here. It's essentially supposed to be like a giant world tree that kind of goes growing out of the ground, and this is the cave network that you will go through that reaches the roots. And so you've got these giant roots at this other end that you can have some kind of, I don't know, battle with some pretty big fae. Yeah, I'm using bridge to to view the map, and it's not got. I don't know what the incremental zoom is. So there you go. So this is 100 squares long. So this is pretty adventure material. The size of this map. You've got enough little sections. You've got this little pool of water, bit of a crevasse, a big deep pit in the middle of it. Some different flora and fauna. Flora and fauna? No, not fauna. Different flora. And you can see these roots that have just kind of like been breaking the way out. They're that long, and this big giant tree stump kind of root network at the other end. I did a version without the canopy as well, for those people that don't really like that effect. But I think it's quite cool. I think it adds to it, particularly in Foundry. It works really well. So then we've got this kind of like broken, shattered fragments of I don't know what. It just is. And we did a couple of versions on this one. Went back, added some of these little spiral ribbon plants in there. Then did some weird rift thing, because this was just quite. I mean, it was deliberately made for this to be an open space for you to put whatever assets you want on there, because it's quite a big map. But then we wanted to have something on there as well, so we put this big rift area, and there you go. So that's the maps. That's the maps for the theme. We've released these. These were all the maps that we've released in April, all different variants. And yeah, so we've also got the assets that are now available. They're uploaded to Moola.net already for the Foundry users. They are on My Airbridge for everybody else. And they everybody gets access to our entire back catalogue of assets now. So I'll give you a little bit of a close-up on some of these. So here we go. So here's some of the plant life. We didn't end up using these ones, but here's some of the others that you can check out. Got some giant mushrooms, all these little rocks and artifacts, and these cool little kind of mysterious rocks and kind of like artifacts and little statue obelisk type things that you can just dot around your maps. Here's our portal, some different versions that we've done: an active portal, some more plants, some more fragments. We've then got some giant leaves in green and purple, some of the glowing palms and things like that. With these, I did a normal version, and then I did a transparent version. You can't really tell here, but there you go. Just because the transparency on them look quite cool on some of the maps, so we wanted to go down that route, and we're giving the options. So yeah, so these are the bulk of the assets. There's probably still more to pull from the theme. That's always going to be the case. There's some assets that are quite easy to extract from the beginning. Then there's others that we will have to kind of make bespoke. I want to make a few routes and things that people can use. It's just not as easy to make them as standalone assets, but these are things that we will constantly try and pick away at. With when it comes to the assets, obviously we'll make available the assets that we make that month, but I'm always going to be trying to pull some of the other stuff from the majority of the maps that we've done previously. We've got 2 years of them, and we have not extracted even half of the assets that we've made, because sometimes we will draw something directly onto a map, and before we were more asset focused, so there were certain things that are drawn on a map but haven't been extracted as an individual assets that is then placeable. So it's something we're working on now that we've kind of shifted some of the focus of the Patreon to be a little bit more asset focused for you folks. So those are the assets. They're available. We're going to try and start getting, I think, doing them halfway through the month and maybe releasing them as 2 packs, I think, instead of releasing them all at the end. But I suppose it doesn't really matter. If basically folks are going to have to kind of check at the end of the month to see what has been released. If you're not thinking of sticking around, if you are sticking around, then I suppose it doesn't matter, you can check whenever. But otherwise, people will always need to check at the end of the month to see if there was anything new to download, because there will always be stuff that is added last minute, stuff that's changed. As much as we try to get it all done ahead of time, we're not quite there yet. So that was this month. Looking into next month, we have Stefan. This was Stefan's last theme. This was Stefan's last month with the Mad Cartographer, and so we have brought on a bunch of people, a bunch of creators from the creator community who make maps, or they make art, or they are involved in some way in the TTRPG industry and want to give this a go. And they're going to be making a bunch of maps for us, using our assets, using ones that we've already made, new ones that they will create in our style. So there's a little group of us that are going to be putting out the maps every month. And so for next month, we were originally going to do oceans, because our themes are going to tie in with Crucible magazine, and Crucible's first issue is Rising Tides. It is an ocean themed issue. But we are pushing the release of Crucible to the middle of June. So many things with the back catalogue, with backer kit, and setting up the website and the shop, and setting up the new Patreon for Crucible. Just a lot of stuff that's kind of taken us away from being able to get the issue ready earlier, so that we had a bit of breathing room. We don't want to be kind of pushing it every month and always kind of like pushing the deadline. So we're like, hey, let's just delay the first issue so that we don't have to delay later issues. But with that, it has had a kind of knock-on effect that the intention of doing the Oceans theme has now shifted to June. So June's will be Oceans, and for next month we're just going to go pick and mix. I love a good pick and mix theme. For those who are new to us, pick and mix is pretty much where we just make anything. There is no rhyme nor reason to what we make, just if we get an idea of a map that we want, or if folks have suggested stuff over on the Discord of something they'd like to see, then sometimes we try to have a go at doing them. And it kind of helps our new folks as well. They're going to have access to all our assets, and hopefully they will be inspired by some of them, and they will want to try and make a certain type of map. With the pick and mix, we have now on the Foundry, we have merged Pick and Mix 1 and Pick and Mix 2. We've merged those two themes, and the Pick and Mix is now going to act as basically the random theme. Sometimes we've got maps that we've done with a collaboration that don't really fit into that month's theme that we might be doing. So we're just going to stick it in the Pick and Mix, and that will be one of the modules for Foundry in particular that we that gets kind of like semi-regularly updated, along with the modular caverns, along with the towns and cities, which will hopefully be coming next month. Had some major problems with it in the Foundry content. Went in to get it all finished this month and found that I deleted a bunch of the scenes that I'd done loads of work on with levels. So I now have to redo all of that, and it was just one of those moments where it's like, not this month. There's enough changes this month that towns and cities once again got put on the back burner. But it's there. And it is going to be one of the ongoing modules that we try to semi-regularly update, adding in new buildings. Again, with the modular caverns, adding in new cavern sections, and Pick and Mix will also be one of those now, where we just add in a new map every so often. So if folks want to keep getting our maps, then obviously stay subscribed, and you will keep getting them. If you are no longer a subscriber of the Patreon, you won't be able to update any of the Foundry packs. You won't be able to update any of the new stuff when we add it, or any updates that we do for quality of life, whether there's a Foundry version change or modular changes, stuff like that. You need to have an active subscription now that all our content is on the Foundry Premium Patreon content setup. But yeah, I think that's everything. We've got a couple of things that we are planning for next month. a few things that are on the back burner. We're trying to. There's just a lot of little jobs in the background that we kind of need to do. I think we've got our Foundry content pretty tight now that we've done the big switch over. We're going to make sure that we there's going to be some more adventures going on the web shop, and going to be available to Patreons next month. They will be Foundry only adventures because we do not have the rights to publish them as a PDF. So they are going to be Foundry ready adventures. They'll be available next month. And then there's going to be some stuff going up on the web shop as well. For those that want to buy the licenses for the Foundry content, so you want full ownership of a module instead of always being a subscriber to the Patreon, then we're going to look at getting those up on the web shop this month as well. So next month, sorry. So yeah, lots going on still. Trying to kind of get the ship running smoothly. Big changes, but yeah, we're pretty excited about where we're going. And also, now that the assets are starting to kind of come out, we will start looking at getting stuff ready for Dungeon Draft. That is kind of high on our priority list of what we are wanting to do. But there's just a bunch of other things as well that we've also got pretty high priority as well. So there you go. Let us know what you thought of the theme. Leave us a message down below. If you are interested in engaging with us more, then come and check us over on our Discord. And you know, we have a little growing community there, and it's a lot easier to kind of get feedback, or if you've got any problems or any suggestions, then that is the best place to do it. So thank you folks for watching. I hope you like the theme. I hope you look forward to Pick and Mix and what our mad team managed to do next month. And whatever crazy assets come out of that, I have no idea. But yeah, as ever, keep rolling those 20s, and peace!